Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is trolls. There's an awful lot in the news at the moment about men abusing women on Twitter and online, but actually that's not really the bit that I'm going to get involved with. Everyone's talking about that already. And although it's shocking and it shouldn't happen, what nobody ever touches on is the trolling from women towards other women. And I think if you run a beauty or fashion blog, then you will at some point have come across trolls who leave just extraordinarily unpleasant messages. You know, they can range from just being snide or snipey to being threatening, violence, and just downright nasty, really. And we've all had them. I think you have to only look at the website, which I'm not going to name, that is just dedicated to trashing a guru, trashing bloggers, adored bloggers they have, funnily enough. And it's just open season on beauty and fashion bloggers, really, on that particular site. I know that other bloggers, and in particular vloggers, and I think Luke Goss in particular has done some really good videos on trolling and, you know, the reaction to it and how you can deal with it. Well, when it first started happening to me, my first thought was why do people do that? And I spoke to a friend of mine, Joe Hemmings, who's a psychologist, quite a well-known psychologist, and she said it's pretty much all down to insecurity, jealousy, just feelings of inadequacy, people wanting what you have. But I just don't see that it can be just that. You know, if you work in the blogging sphere as a beauty blogger, any beauty blogger will know that we all feel jealous sometimes, we all feel inadequate sometimes, we all feel like everyone's doing it better and getting better opportunities. That is just part and parcel of the business of blogging. You know, we all feel it. It's not an uncommon thing. Not everyone says that they feel it, but everyone, I think, does. And if you don't, you're probably not doing it right. But it's whether you let what people have to say get to you and why they do it in the first place, apart from all those feelings. I mean, if those were just the common denominators, then we'd all be trolling each other, and yet we don't. You know, the blog world, beauty blogging world, exists in really quite a cordial community, given that it's all women, intelligent women with strong views on things. We all rub along quite nicely, I think. You know, I've had some very, very steep learning curves on my blog, and particularly regarding other people, and I'm not ashamed to say that I've made some really big regrettable mistakes, but you know, I've moved on, and mostly people do. But I think the only way to deal with trolling is just to ignore it, as though it's not there, as though they never ever touched you in any way, shape or form, and that their words are completely meaningless. If you ever argue back with a troll, then all you're doing is feeding that desire to hurt you and just giving them more ammunition. You will never be right. It won't matter what the circumstances are. You will never be right in their eyes. So ever since I've had a policy, no trolling policy on my blog, which has been quite successful for me, really, I just don't publish anything by a troll. I see it, I read it, and then I delete it, because that's the power I have. Or, rather meanly, another little trick is that I will answer them once and then let them really let rip and then not publish that. So it always looks like I had the last word, whether I did or I didn't. Because after all, I didn't ask them to visit my blog and leave abusive comments. So, you know, if you get them, ignore them, because that's really the only way that they will ever go away. But I find it quite funny that the media never really knows, I don't think, quite the extent it can go on. I know that one of my really good blogging friends, Ree, from Really Ree, has had a really snipey troll who you couldn't say she's been aggressive or threatening, but and I'm saying I assume it's a she because, you know, it's a beauty blog, so I'll just make that assumption, although, you know, I'm prepared to be wrong. She dealt with it with really basically very good humour, and over a period of time made fun, gentle fun of the troll, and said, I love my troll, where's my troll, I'm missing her, and all that kind of thing. So, and the troll hasn't really been back because there was no, Ree just would not give them the satisfaction. She just wouldn't, and pretty relentlessly wouldn't. So, you know, that sort of worked for her. But in most cases, I think it's a question of ignoring, and maybe at some point, you know, the media will look at aggression online by women towards women, because it's not just a man thing. It happens in all communities. I'm sure it happens on, you know, men to men as well, but I don't know. That's not my area of experience. So, yeah, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, actually, because it's just that one thing that stops everything from being brilliant, really. Anyway, that's it.